Good morning. I'm in need of a haircut, in need of a shave, and it's a dreich morning. But moving right on, as they say. The Herald today has what I find a very interesting article, one that's well worth reading, by Andy McIver. Now, Andy McIver, as you know, is an ex-Tory spin doctor, but he's also has a communications consultancy, which is what usually happens to ex-spin doctors. But Andy McIver talks a lot of sense. So bearing in mind his Tory background, his piece today is headed "Collapse of the Tories Threatens Disaster for SNP." Now, you would think this is a rather odd forecast, and I don't agree with the premise of that, but the article itself is well worth reading because he's a good analytical journalist, far better than many of the opinion journalists who have pretenses in that direction. And he focuses on what we all know, that the Tories are collapsing. There's likely to be a Labour government at the next general election. What is the impact on the SNP? Well, the polls would suggest that Labour will gain 1 or 2 seats as a result of it in Westminster, not what we should, what they could expect from the size of the collapse of the Tories that's forecast. But he relates, Andy McIver relates it to Nicola's current position in relation to a referendum, a legal referendum, which is not going to happen, and the proxy referendum, the de facto referendum of the 2024 general election. And his analysis is good. His analysis, if I can maybe just give you a snapshot of his ideas. He says the SNP has been in power in Scotland since 2007, and it's by no means clear if and when that rule will see its end. There are good reasons for this. One is the lack of a credible opposition. You can say that again. More prominent one is the overlaying of constitutional politics on our elections. Now, it's not an overlay of constitutional politics in our elections, it's the very essence of our elections. Because at least, and probably appreciably more, and certainly after a campaign of the electorate of Scotland, is in favour of the independence, total sovereign independence of Scotland from the Union. And that influences the votes, both of those who want it and those who don't want it. He goes on to say, this is a government which, notwithstanding some recent missteps, has been exceptional both at governing and increasing its own base since the day it entered office in May 2007. And that's a very fair summation of what the SNP has achieved. It's an achievement in being elected, which after all, as the front-end arm of the independence movement, is its primary duty, has been excellent, and that is totally down initially to Alex Salmond and in recent years to Nicola Sturgeon. He goes on, however, to analyse the SNP's current position and strategy. And although you may jib at points at little Tory, some would say bias, I would say viewpoint in it, it's a very objective analysis. And if I may be so arrogant as to say that this is a must read. He's a good journalist, he's a clear thinker, and he has focus, his articles are well grouped. He's a bit like Adam Tompkins on his good days, although Adam Tompkins has disastrous Tory days. Andy McIver presents a more balanced view and a fascinating insight into what I think is still a unionist viewpoint, although some of it would suggest he has shifted at least to a more objective standpoint, and he may actually be moving towards a yes position. So well done, Andy McIver, with very minor reservations, and I suggest that it's worth a read. Bye.